The Pentagon says it will go ahead with the drills, dubbed Ulchi Freedom Guardian, as originally scheduled, despite DPRK threats. Meanwhile, Japan has deployed several Patriot missile defense systems in Hiroshima, Shimane and Kochi. The three prefectures were specifically named by Pyongyang when the government announced it was working on a plan to strike targets near the US island of Guam.
What do you mean by military solutions are locked and loaded as it relates to North Korea?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. We are looking at that very carefully, and I hope that they are going to fully understand the gravity of what I said, and what I said is what I mean. So hopefully they'll understand, Peter, exactly what I said and the meaning of those words. Those words are very, very easy to understand.
Any progress on the diplomatic back channel?
Well, we don't want to talk about progress. We don't want to talk about back channels. We want to talk about a country that has misbehaved for many, many years, decades actually, through numerous administrations, and they didn't want to take on the issue, and I have no choice but to take it on, and I'm taking it on, and we'll either be very, very successful quickly, or we're going to be very, very successful in a different way quickly.
Angela Merkel says she sees no military solution to fight with North Korea. Why is she wrong?
Well, I think maybe she's speaking for Germany. Let her speak for Germany. She's a friend of mine. She's a very good person, very good woman. She's a friend of Ivanka. Perhaps she's referring to Germany. She's certainly not referring to the United States. That I can tell you.
Mr. President, you've said you wanted to send a strong message to North Korea. What do you say to your critics who say that your rhetoric is actually raising the tension?
Well, you know, my critics are only saying that because it's me. If somebody else uttered the exact same words that I uttered, they'd say, what a great statement, what a wonderful statement. They're only doing it, but I will tell you, we have tens of millions of people in this country that are so happy with what I'm saying, because they're saying, finally, we have a president that's sticking up for our nation and, frankly, sticking up for our friends and our allies. And this man will not get away with what he's doing, believe me. And if he utters one threat in the form of an overt threat, which, by the way, he has been uttering for years, and his family has been uttering for years, or if he does anything with respect to Guam, or any place else that's an American territory or an American ally, he will truly regret it, and he will regret it fast. Okay? Thank you all very much. Thank you.
We start off tonight with correspondent Rich Edson at the State Department. Good evening, Rich.
Good evening, Brett. And the president just finishing that meeting, the national security and North Korea-focused meeting with his national security advisor, UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, and with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Secretary Tillerson has just returned from Asia. On that diplomatic trip, he focused on North Korea, while the president was conducting his own diplomacy from home.
If he does anything with respect to Guam, or any place else that's an American territory or an American ally, he will truly regret it, and he will regret it fast.
President Trump today warning North Korea's leader following news the Korean People's Army is preparing a missile attack plan against Guam. Early this morning, the president told the world via Twitter the United States is ready to act. Quote, military solutions are now fully in place, locked and loaded should North Korea act unwisely. Hopefully Kim Jong-un will find another path. The furious language over the past few days is unique for an American president and in line with ordinary and predictable North Korean rhetoric. The latest from the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, according to regional reports, quote, it is tragedy that the reckless and hysteric behaviors may reduce the U.S. mainland to ashes any moment. The U.S. and its vassal forces will dearly pay for the harshest sanctions and pressure and reckless military provocations against the DPRK. Despite these exchanges, a senior U.S. diplomat, Ambassador Joseph Yoon, is in regular contact with North Korean counterparts at their United Nations office, discussing the 3 Americans still imprisoned in North Korea, among other issues, according to the Associated Press. Multiple State Department officials refused to comment on the report, though Secretary of State Rex Tillerson did detail how the U.S. and North Korea could negotiate.
So I think that would be the first and strongest signal they could send to us, is just stop these missile launches. Obviously, we have other means of communication open to them to certainly hear from them if they have a desire to want to talk.
Earlier this year, Ambassador Yoon used a similar channel when he brokered the release of Otto Warmbier, the college student from Ohio who returned in June from North Korea with severe brain injuries and died days later. With the ongoing public rhetoric between North Korea and the White House, world leaders are asking both sides to stop threatening each other.
I am firmly convinced that an escalation of the rhetoric will not contribute to a solution of the conflict.
When it comes almost to a fight, then the first one who has to make a step backwards from the dangerous line is the stronger and the smarter one. We will hope so.
The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it, quote, hopes all relevant parties to speak and act with caution, rather than relapse into the old path of showing assertiveness and escalating tensions. Now, President Trump just announced he will be speaking tonight with Chinese President Xi Jinping, and he noted that the U.S. and China are working closely together on North Korea. The State Department has said in the past that China is making progress on that issue, but needs to be doing more. Brent?
Rich Edson, live at the State Department. Rich, thank you.
Four, three, two, one. Top sorry.